This college football season, depth figures to be more important than ever. It's not really all that sexy of a topic to talk about, as sports in general are driven by stars and not necessarily always the deepest teams. But with COVID-19 still figuring to be around this fall and affecting teams, as we're already seeing with schools like LSU, Clemson, and Kansas State all announcing double-digit COVID-19 positive test case, it's going to be an issue come this coming fall. At some point on a Friday afternoon, you're probably going to see X number of players from your favorite team testing positive for COVID-19. That means they're not playing that following Saturday, or even likely the Saturday after that, assuming that the team has a game. It's going to be 14 days at a time with these COVID-19 tests, and that's going to really put a stress on teams this fall. And the teams best equipped to handle this coming season, if assuming there is still one, are the teams with the best depth. As usual, that tends to be the teams at the top of the food chain. The Alabamas, the Ohio States, the LSUs, and yes, Georgia. Functional depth has been one of Kirby Smart's key tenets in his time as Georgia coach. He wants to have a lot of guys that he can play. One, so he can appease those who want playing time. And two, in case of injuries or in this season COVID-19, he has guys that he can turn to that he feels comfortable playing. For example, let's say that a couple of linebackers test positive for COVID-19 this fall. Georgia should be pretty well set at that position, given that guys like Nolan Smith and Adam Anderson, two highly touted and highly talented individuals, aren't likely to even be starters on this team. Georgia should be pretty well off compared to a lot of the other teams, as evidenced by the fact that 82% of its roster is filled with blue-chip recruits. But even beyond that, they've done a very good job of developing players, such as three-star prospects like Jordan Davis, Eric Stokes, and Monty Rice. Georgia should handle this pretty well and should once again be one of the top teams this coming college football season because of its elite depth. And that even actually now stretches to the quarterback position, something that we couldn't have said in either of the last two seasons. Assuming transfer quarterback JT Daniels is granted eligibility by the NCAA for the season, that would give Georgia two transfer quarterbacks who started at least 10-plus games at the Power 5 level, and Jamie Newman, who came over from Wake Forest, and Daniels, who came from USC. That's also to throw in Dwan Mathis and Carson Beck, along with Stetson Bennett from a season ago. 2018, Georgia only had Jake Fromm and Justin Fields on scholarship. In 2019, Georgia once again only had Fromm and Stetson Bennett on scholarship. You can see why in the past, quarterback depth has been an issue for Georgia, but this season, because of the way Georgia has gone about it this offseason, that's not going to be one of them. Yes, Georgia still has some major question marks at the quarterback position, and sort of having depth doesn't necessarily make it easy to answer who is going to be the guy or the best player at the quarterback position. But given what COVID-19 figures to do, not just to the sport, but to the world at large, having multiple options, especially on sports teams, is going to determine which teams end up having the best seasons. Georgia should be very well covered there, especially even compared to some of the other elite teams like Florida and Auburn that Georgia plays, given the number of blue-chip recruits it has compared to those two schools. Depth is one of the key differentiators between even teams like Florida and Georgia. Both these teams have at least 22 quality starters, and that's usually borne out as these two teams have been in the top 10 in each of the past two seasons. But the differentiator between these two programs is that Georgia has had closer to 45, 50 good players, while Florida has struggled to reach that same benchmark. That's achieved through recruiting, and that's where Georgia, along with the elite programs, tends to have an advantage in this coming season. COVID-19 is going to affect Georgia football this season in one way or another, and the Bulldogs have to be very well prepared for that. And having quality depth, not just at one or two positions, but across the entire team, is going to make it easier to deal with the fact that when there are positive tests with players, that Georgia will be pretty well equipped to have guys step in and play for 2 weeks until those players can get back cleared and healthy.
For more Dog Nation videos, check out youtube.com/DogNation.